Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, the Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for the Fantastic Four First Steps. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Sorry, I'm to leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on the Fantastic Four, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into the review, shall we? So, the last movie of this juggernaut of a July, a hell of a summer, is what we had. In 2025 when it came to these big ass blockbusters, F1, favorite movie of the year, awesome time at the theater. Jurassic World Rebirth, still very fun. Superman just gives you that good glimpse of hope, and now here we are with Fantastic Four. A lot of questions around this one. The start of Phase 6, how is this going to look? Going to move on to the future? Does this give us any inkling on what the MCU is going to look like moving on? And earlier we had Thunderbolts this year, and gave that one a great review too. It's within my top 10 favorite movies of the year is Thunderbolts, and that really did feel like, hey, the MCU could be back. Like, it was a good back to form of what the MCU could be, right? It's a really good movie. If this Fantastic Four is a good indication of what the MCU once was, like, this to me was a good throwback to that prime MCU that we have been missing for a long time. The old joke, if you will, of, this is the best Marvel movie since Endgame, right? No, F that. This is just one of the best Marvel movies, period. I don't know where I would rank it necessarily within the MCU yet. I would have to see it again to really see where I would position it. But it might be within my favorite of the top 10 MCU films overall. It is also easily within my top 10, maybe within my top 5 favorite films of this year alone. I had a lot of concerns going into this movie. One, because the Fantastic Four has a special place in my heart, right? I loved reading those comics. Spider-Man is easily my number one. And yes, when it comes to DC, Superman is my number one, as stated in my Superman review. But when we are going to merge all the heroes together and put them under one umbrella and give you a top 10, it's Spider-Man, then the Fantastic Four is a close second right behind it. And, those 2000s movies I have a very special place in my heart for. After watching this, I can see why we have the qualms, because I know what we can do with this. And one of the main factors of this film that I think, that 2000s film falls flat on in Fantastic is that they actually do feel like a family. Reed, Sue, Johnny, and the Thing, and Ben. Is just the way they react with each other and how their camaraderie is. Each dynamic has a different set. And I would have liked to see more dynamics of mixtures, like Sue and Ben. I would have liked to see a lot more of them interacting with each other, because they had this nice little, big brother, little sister type dynamic. Reed and Sue have that husband and wife mentality. Of course, Sue and Johnny have that brother and sister dynamic. The dynamic of Johnny and Reed is different. The dynamic of Ben and Reed is different. Ben and Johnny, we can go on and on and on about the different combinations, but they flow so well with each other. The dialogue and the comedy really does fit well within each other all the way throughout the film, besides maybe one moment that I'm still really debating with myself if it was necessarily to have it. And it's a big moment within the film when this comedy moment happens, because it's something that we want to see and it's something that we want to hear. But where the placement of it is, I'm not sure if it was necessarily right. But besides that one moment, which again, I keep going back and forth on, I think everything within the script really, really flowed well when it came to the dialogue of this family and the way their camaraderie was within each other. And also, I really liked how, for the most part, all of them really got a chance to shine. Reed really does feel like the smartest person within the universe. I would have liked to see that tethered in a little bit more. They do give some hints throughout, like, he really does pre-plan. He is all about prep time. Like, you're talking Batman on steroids, where he is just prep. He's thinking of every single possible combination. And then as those things, if I would like to see a little bit more of that within this film, because you get a little taste of it, because later on in the film, and you see it in the trailer where he goes, I don't know. It does feel like a moment, but I do feel like it could have been an even bigger moment if we would have given more time to see how much of a prepper and how prepared he really is within the film. Ben, I kind of yearned a little bit more for, just in general. Really, he when he's in the movie, he delivers, and you love him, right? Like I love The Thing, I love Ben in this film, but out of all four of them, he was the one I was clamoring more for. Sue really did feel like the heartbeat of the family, and within that, the heartbeat of this whole entire film. Really saying like, nope, we're not going to think like that. Also, really standing up when in the face of adversity. She has this great monologue later on within the film that really makes me fall in love with her, and you can see why Reed would fall in love with her as well. Johnny is, a breath of fresh air in this movie because, he's like most, he is my favorite of the four. And when, although in this movie I might actually prefer Reed, but anyway, typically, Johnny is my favorite, but he's always the one who gets shortchanged, right? Because, he's the womanizer of the group, so therefore he's kind of resulted to comedy and just being, that sex symbol of the Fantastic Four, right? Within the 2000s Villains Fan-4 all the other incarnations of it. And he's kind of played as the dumb one, if you will. And sure, out of the four, he may be four, but this is like being fourth within, a bunch of tech wizards. He's still an astronaut, and he's still very, very smart. And I am really, really glad in this movie he does get the chance to do that. And it really did bring a smile to my face. Like, he has a big moment in this where he really does level out the battlefield within this movie because of something that he did on his own, and this was his plan. And everyone was like, "Oh yeah, hell yeah, Johnny, way to make the play there." Really, really did appreciate that they did that within this film. So yeah, for the most part, I really have no qualms within this movie. Completely pun intended, this movie is fantastic. But where my problems are within it, also, before we get more dig into the problems, just, people are going to ask, which one do you prefer, Superman or the Fantastic Four? I prefer both. I know that's a cop-out answer, but, to give any indication on which one I will probably lean you more towards is that, with Superman in that movie, I felt safe all the way through, right? Like I said, it's a real good, feel-good movie, but I don't think this is a spoiler to say anything, but, again, I felt safe. Like, I was like, well, I'm pretty sure Superman's going to figure this out. It's just a matter of how he's going to figure this out. And, sure enough, that does happen. It's your typical comic book movie, right? Here in this movie, I did have worry, which was a good, again, I accomplished up to the positives, because a lot of times throughout this movie, I'm like, I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to be able to win this one. Yeah, they're probably in trouble here. And then, you're really locked in because it's not just about the galactic threat that is Galactus, to save the planet. There's also very intimate and very personal stakes on the horizon within this film as well, which again, I really did appreciate about it. But the problem is, now we can head into the criticisms, is that this movie is rushed when we get to the end. I feel like in the beginning, maybe we could have shifted some things around if you were really committed to this hour 55 runtime. Is that, in the beginning, they do the whole recap on how the Fantastic Four became the Fantastic Four, right? Which I kind of get. It's been a long time since we had a movie, and, the last movie, not a lot of people saw. So, yeah, maybe you do need that refresher. But either show the origin, or if you're not wanting to do the origin, then just don't do it. Just give little callbacks here and there from it, and then give some more time to, the actual character conflicts that are happening within it. Like I said, when it comes to the actual plot and the actual stakes of the movie, they get it. They feel high. That you feel every single moment, and you feel the clock ticking on the impending doom of Galactus. You feel that. But when there's conflict between like a Sue and a Reed, they have that conflict, and then it gets resolved within minutes. Now, within a family, sure, that is typically what's going to happen, but I would have liked to see a little bit more, not necessarily of them fighting, but, just a little bit more work in order to get to that resolve, as opposed to they just resolve pretty much. It's also not just within the Fantastic Four. There is a conflict between them and, some people. Again, I'm not going to get too much into spoilers, but there's some conflict between them and, you know, a group of people. And, you know, like, yeah, no, I don't, understandable on both sides, but I don't know how they're going to be able to coexist. And then, of course, boom, they are just able to coexist. Again, it's just those quick resolves to me where I just would have liked a little bit more of a fight between the sides. Not necessarily, you know, a full conflict, you know, cussing each other out and what have you. But again, just a little bit more of a conflict where, you know, it just feels like, man, there's just a lot at stake and we're going to have to really figure some things out, as opposed to, oh, they had an argument. Oh, now they made up. It's just something I was really wanting more of. Again, more of a nitpick than an actual criticism, because, again, overall, I really did enjoy the ride and I had a great time with it, to the point where if I had to rank this on a lemon scale, where it goes sour lemon, expired store-bought lemonade. Store-bought lemonade, good, but hey, there's some bad in it. Lemonade in the middle, it's a movie. Freshly squeezed lemonade, very good, minor problems. Strawberry lemonade at the very top because of the best kind of lemonade. To me, Fantastic Four is freshly squeezed lemonade. Again, if we would have just given this more time, I think maybe this could have benefited from a 2 hour and 10 minute runtime within it. And y'all know me, I'm typically all about, hey, get me in and out, man. I don't need to be there for 3 hours. I don't need to be there 2.5. If you can get me within there in 90 minutes, that's all good. But sometimes you do need a little bit more time. And I do think post the second act of this movie, as we're transitioning to the third, you can just feel a little bit of choppiness throughout the movie. Again, conflict gets resolved very, very quickly. Not the overall conflict, but the conflict between characters gets resolved pretty quickly. And again, just some things just feel a little bit choppy throughout. But besides that, again, I really have no problems with this movie. I do highly recommend it. Make sure you stay for the post-credit scenes. They are very good and they are very important. I do think Avengers Doomsday becomes very, very clear after this movie. So comment below and let me know your thoughts on Fantastic Four. If you had the chance to go see it, leave a like on this review if you made it this far. I do greatly appreciate it. And again, hit that subscribe button as I am trying to grow into my YouTube career. And until next time, guys, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.